right, so with that said, let's go and take a look at the first question. Okay, so this is question number 1 out of 350. So it says, which factors of x squared minus 4x minus 5 select 2 options? So when you're factoring this, you want to create a little chart. So create your little t-chart. Your last number is going to be right here. Your middle number is going to be on the right side like that. Okay. And then what you want to do is you want to ask yourself, what times what gives me a -5? Like list all of the factors of -5. So one that I could use is like a -1 and 5. That gives me a -5. 1 and -5. But only one of them here is going to add up to a -4. So which one is that going to be? Let's take a look at this. -1 plus 5 is a +4. 1 minus 5 is a -4. So which one adds up to a -4? Probably these two numbers, right? So again, I will encourage you to make sure that you guys have this written down, because if it's not, Miss Jensen's gonna go through your folder and she's gonna take it and chuck it in the garbage. So then this is your answer right here. So you're like, okay, so what's my answer, Callahan? Your answer is gonna be x, this is a +1, plus 1. This is a -5, x minus 5. And so looking at your answers, obviously it has to be this one here and this one here, because those are the only two that matches my answer in the box. All right, let's take a look at question number 2. So you guys go ahead and read that. All right, so this is a partial factorization. It says which unit tiles are needed to complete the factorization. I don't even like this question because you don't use tiles on the actual test. And so let's go and take a look at this. Create your little chart right here, okay? Your last number, which is -12, goes on the left. Your middle number, what's your middle number? What's the number in front of the x? It's a -1, is right here. So last number here, middle number there. So now let's talk about what are all the different factors that gives me a -12. So this one's a little bit more than the last one, because you could try a -1 and a +12, a +1 and a -12. What other ones can you try? What times what gives me a -12? I could try 2 on 6s, like a -2 and a +2. I can also try a 3 and a 4, 3 and a -4, like that. So now what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to go ahead and add them. So -1 plus 12 is 11. 1 minus 12 is a -11. What's -2 plus 6? I want you guys to give me the rest of these answers here. So you guys add them out. You should have a 4, -4, 1, and -1. Which one of these match the middle number here, you guys? And your middle number here that you're trying to match is a -1. It looks like the last one here matches that. Do you guys see that? So then your answer here in this situation is just going to be +3, -4, as in like x minus 3, x plus 3, x minus 4. So if you look at the top right here, do you see how it's x plus plus plus? So that's x plus 3. Over here, you don't have that. So what are you missing? X minus 4. So your answer is 4 negative units. So kind of soak that in a little bit, you guys. All right, number 3. Let's take a look at this one here. Which is a factor of x squared plus 8x minus 48? So this is your last number. This is your middle number. So you're going to create a chart again, where last number comes here, middle number goes there. Your last number is negative 48. Your middle number is 8. So you want to ask yourself, what times what gives me a negative 48? So I could do a negative 1 and positive 48, 1 and negative 48. Now you guys go ahead and come up with some as well. Maybe like a 2 and a 24, maybe a 3 and a 18, maybe a 4 and a 12, maybe a 6 and a 7. So go ahead and fill that chart out. Think of all the things that multiply to negative 48. Okay, so some of the numbers I'm thinking is like 2 and negative 24, negative 2 and positive 24, negative 3 and positive 18, 3 and negative 18, maybe a 4 and a negative 12, negative 4 and positive 12. I think there's one more I can do, which is a negative 6 and a 8, and a positive 6 and a negative 8. Those are all the different factors of negative 48. So now what I'm gonna have you guys do is let's go ahead and add them, you guys. So we're gonna add them all together and put them over here on the right side. So negative 1 plus 48 is a 47. This is a negative 47. Add them, you get a negative 22, positive 22. Now you guys fill out the rest of the charts there. So then I have a 15, negative 15, negative 8, positive 8, 2, negative 2. Now, what's your middle number here? Your middle number here is going to be a positive 8. Right there. So which one here has a positive 8? There's a positive 8 right there. And that is with a negative 4 and a positive 12. So your answer in this situation is just going to be x minus 4, x plus 12. So then looking at your answers, the only one that matches that is this one right here. And that is your answer, D as in dog. It's not as simple as just highlighting the right answer. I mean, you really have to write down everything to get to the right answer. So those are a few changes that Ms. Jensen and I are going to be doing. So if you just simply have nothing written on your sheet, she's going to go through it and chuck it. So make sure you have your notes written down, guys.
We're doing another. We got a new thing.
All right, you guys, we're going to go on to number 4. Go ahead and take a moment and read that question. All right, so the expression y squared minus 10y plus 24 has a factor of y minus 4. What is another factor of this? We're going to do this one more time. So draw your little table, you guys, okay? Last number, middle number. So here's your last number. Here's your middle number. My last number is a positive 24. My middle number is negative 10. And you guessed out, we're going to go ahead and list everything that multiplies out to a positive 24. So you're going to draw a bunch of little lines in there. So what are some of the ones that I could possibly use? So I could do like, let's say, a 1 and a 24. Do you see how there's a negative number right here? So if there's a negative number there, you got to use negative numbers as well. So -1 and -24. How about a 2 and a, actually you have to have negative numbers because there's a negative. So -2 and -12. I don't want to use +2 and +12 because it has to include a negative number. That's what my answer has to be. How about -3 and -8, -4 and -6. And I think that's all the numbers I can use, right? I don't think there's any other factors that multiply up to a -20 or positive 24. So then once you're done with that, we're going to go ahead and add everything together. So this one is going to give me a 25, -25, -14, -11, -10. So which one here matches to my middle number of -10? Well, I see a -10 right there. And the two numbers I need are -4 and -6. So x minus 4, x minus 6. Or actually in this case, it's y. So y minus 4 and y minus 6. So it says, which one has an expression of y minus 4? Well, I have that y minus 4 right there. So which one am I not using so far? I did not include y minus 6, which I don't know why that just decided to go away. It's a highlighter, it shouldn't go away. It's acting weird. So y minus 6 is my other answer. And that's why it's D as in dog. All right, number 5, you guys, and then we'll take a quick little break, okay, promise. So read that one, please. Okay, so this person is factoring trinomials, okay? And this is what is shown. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So hold on 1 second. So what that means is that you're going to have x minus 6 right here, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then this one is 1, 2, so it's x plus 2, like that, okay? Which trinomial did you factor it from? So with that said, if you look at this, you're going to do x plus 2 times x minus 6. So you're going to have to do the rainbow method, which is FOIL, okay? F-O-I-L. F stands for first, so x times x, which is x squared. Then O stands for outer, like the two numbers on the outside, okay? And the two numbers on the outside is x and -6, so that's a -6x. And then you're gonna do I stands for inside, so what two numbers on the inside? 2 and x, which is just 2x. And then you're gonna do the numbers L, which is in the last, so 2 and -6. So that's -12, okay? Well, if I just take a look at my answers here, which one has an x squared and a negative 12? Well, I know A has that. I also know that D has that. But what they differ is a number in the middle. So then look at the inside here. Look at these two numbers in the middle. Negative 6x plus 2x. What is that going to give you? That gives you a negative 4x, which is this number right there. So your answer here is going to be D as in dog. All right, I'm gonna have you guys take a little break because we're already done with the first 5. And so your reflection and exit ticket, which we always do kind of in the middle, is gonna be right over here. So go ahead and take a moment and answer this question. Okay, so welcome back. We took a break and now you guys have questions 6 to 10, which is going to be on this part right here. It's on the back of your paper. So take a look at your questions and let's go ahead and get started with question number 6. Okay, so with question number 6, this is what is the factor form of a polynomial? Okay, so I really feel like it's like Groundhog Day. We're doing exactly the same thing over and over again. So here's your chart, you guys. You know, this is your last number. This is your middle number. 48 is your last number. Your middle number is negative 16. So you put 48 here, negative 16 here. So now, do you have negative numbers or positive numbers? I have a negative number right there. So what that means is that whatever I use for the factors, it has to have negative numbers as well. Make sure you draw your little lines for your tables. Okay, so then let's take a look at this. If it's gonna be negative, I can do a negative 9, 1, and 48, positive 1 and negative 48, a negative 2 and positive 24, positive 2 and negative 24. I want you guys to take a moment and go ahead and write down the rest of the numbers on the bottom. What other ones can you use? What times what gives me a 48? Oh, you know what? And I screwed this up because if you look at it, it has to be a positive 48. So go back, sorry, go back. Has been negative 1, negative 48, negative 2 and negative 24. Negative 3 and a negative 18 because it has to have a negative number. Okay, so I don't care about the positive numbers, just a negative number, but it has to be positive 48. Like when I multiply together, it has to be positive 48. Can I have you turn down your cell phone or a little bit? Thanks. All right, so then maybe negative 4 and negative 12. Negative 6 and negative 8. And I think that's all the ones we can do, right? So let's now go ahead and add them together, okay? This gives me a negative 49, negative 26, negative 21, negative 40, or excuse me, 16. Negative 14. Now let's see which one matches. My middle number has to be a negative 16. Which one of those is a negative 16? You got it, negative 4 and negative 12. So my answer is x minus 4, x minus 12. And interesting enough, that's the correct answer, which is A as an apple. And that's how you factor a trinomial, you guys. I hope you kind of remember this from like last year, you know, when you kind of saw a little bit of that, but that's typically what we have to do. All right, let's go on to number 7. Okay, so Brianna is grabbing this function. What are the x-intercepts and what should Brianna use to do that? Okay, so let's go and take a look at this. Create your table again. Last number, middle number. Your last number here and your middle number is right there. My last number is gonna be 5. My middle number is gonna be a positive 6, okay? So first thing you wanna do is you're gonna look at it. Are we using positive numbers or negative numbers? Well, if you look at it, that's a positive 5, that's a positive 6. So what that means is that because there's no negative numbers, everything has to be positive, okay? And then draw your lines. So what times what gives me a positive 5? And it has to be positive numbers. So I could do 1 and 5 or 5 and 1. That's it. That's all you have. And so then as I'm looking over here, which one of these adds up to 6? Well, they both do, right? Because I mean, like, that's 6. 5 plus 1 is 6. 5 plus 1 is 6. And 1 plus 5 is 6. So it doesn't really matter. You could just do x plus 1, x plus 5 equals 0. Okay. Now, you got to separate them. Your first answer is going to be x plus 1 equals 0. Your second answer is x plus 5 equals 0. So now we're just solving. What's opposite of a positive 1? Minus 1. What's opposite of a positive 5? Minus 5. So then 1 and negative 1 cancels, 5 and negative 5 cancels. So what is 0 minus 1? What does that give you? Isn't that a negative 1? What's 0 minus 5? Isn't that a negative 5? So is that A, B, C, or D? Which one has a negative 1 and a negative 5? All right, let's go ahead and go on to number 8, you guys. So once again, we're doing the same thing again. So here we go. Last number, middle number. Here's your last number. There's your middle number. Your last number is a 7. Your middle number is an 8. And you ask yourself, do I do positive numbers or do I do negative numbers? Do you see any negative numbers in that equation? No. So guess what? It's going to be all positive numbers. So what times what gives you a 7? Those are the only two numbers I can think of. When I add them together, they both give me 8. And so what is my answer? X plus 1, x plus 7 equals 0. And then you have to separate them. So you have x plus 1 equals 0, x plus 7 equals 0. And then what's opposite of a positive 1? Negative 1. What's opposite of a positive 7? Negative 7. And so which answer does that match? A, B, C, or D? Got it. Good job. All right, number 9. 2 more questions, you guys. We can do it, I promise. All right, so which model represents this right here? Okay, so let's go ahead and draw our table. Last number, middle number. Last number is an 8, middle number is a 9. Can I have you put your cell phone away, please? Thank you. And so are we looking at positive numbers or negative numbers? Well, there's no negative numbers here, so we're all looking at positive numbers, okay? So what times what gives you an 8? But it has to be positive. So 1 and 8, 8 and 1. And so once I have this right here, all of them, guess what, adds up to 9. So really my answer is just x plus 1, x plus 8. So then let's take a look at your answers here. Which one shows you that and gives you that option? Yes, you are correct. And I'm spending a little bit of time to make this a little bit bigger so that you can see what's happening here. So here we go. Okay, so your answer would be D, because if you look over here, how many plus signs do you have? You have 8 plus signs, so that's x plus 8. On the left side, how many plus signs do you have? You have 1, so x plus 1. So D as in dog is the correct answers, okay? I believe I am missing one, so give me a second and let me see if I can find it. Oh, I don't, oh, no, I found it. Like, I just like added the wrong one. I was talking to everybody else in the class. I'm like, I know there's one missing. I'm screwing up somewhere, but that's okay. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, I'm sorry. No, you're fine. Yeah, if you're listening to this on YouTube, we're just talking to ourselves, so just deal with it. This is what I do all last year. Like, I had to record 3 classes a day. It was like insane. Like, my kids would go to bed at, you know, like at 8 o'clock, and then I'm up until like 11 o'clock video recording my stupid videos. But the good thing about it is once it's done, it's there forever, you know, and so I can always use it. All right, number 10, you guys, last question, we can do it. How could Brent use a rectangle model to factor this? Okay, so once again, let's create our table. So grab our table, left, or last, left, and then middle. Your last number here is 6, and your middle number is -7. Now you're gonna ask yourself, are we gonna use negative numbers or are we gonna use positive numbers?
I know I started doing that yesterday too. Are you doing it in PowerPoint?
I am. All right, and so let's think. We're gonna be negative numbers because I have a -7 right there. So draw your little lines, and then ask yourself, what times what gives me a -6 to have negative numbers? I could do a -1 and 6, 1 and -6. So if it does mean negative numbers, you have 2 different options, okay? -2 and 3, 2 and -3. I think that's about it, right? I don't think there's anything else that can multiply, give me a -6. Now let's go ahead and add everything together on the right side. So I have a 5, a -5, a 1, a -1. What is it? Oh, you're right. Because guess what? When I add all of it here together, it doesn't even give me a -7. Duh. All right, let's go back to this. Sorry. So you'd have negative numbers, but it has to be a -6 or +6. So -1, -6, -2, and -3. See, got myself all mixed up there. When I add them, I'm going to get a -7 and a -5. Now, the one that you want to use is a -7. So which one's a -7? It's the first one, which is x minus 1 and x minus 6. That is my answer. But your answers are in words, but it does have x minus 1 and x minus 6. So is that A, B, C, or D? Yeah, because it has, whoops, it has x minus 1 and -6 literally in it. Good job, you guys. This is actually an entire unit of work that we just finished today. And so if you're done with this, good job. You watched the entire video, and we will see you guys next time to talk about number 11 to 20. Have a great day.